All right, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live. And let me tell you, this is Drive Safe Dave here. Big story today, big news. Cowboys came in second in the game yesterday, along with those that dreaded Tampa Bay. I just had to bring it up, watched a little bit of the game. You know, if you bet the line, if you went with Vegas, you didn't do too hot as the Cowboys were running too. Producer, what did you think of the game?
You know, I got to say, second best, not too bad. we're doing. I'd say we're not doing too bad for hitting second place last night.
Hey, Dak, a 101.4 rating. Mr. Brady, you know, the producers lover over there, 97.
Right.
All right. Let's keep going. Dak, 403 passing yards. Brady, 379.
Yeah.
Brady goes down with what? Under 2 minutes. Under 2 minutes. His team, 56-yard drive. But he's got the umps, the refs on his side too. Throw the flag already. Throw the flag on that last play.
Yeah.
Should have, no doubt, pass interference he pushed off. When we're out there driving, we're backing up. We talk about construction zones. We talk about just the chaos out there in general. Hey, up in Minnesota, we had a fatality involving a construction worker. Now, we don't know everything yet, Drive Safe Dave, but here's what we know. The truck backed up, ran over somebody, killed the construction worker.
Right.
And what we want to remember is this. Again, everything's under investigation. We're not saying he didn't get out and look. He could have got out and looked. It was clear. There's so much chaos out there in the construction zones is that we've got to be extra careful. And that's not just the driver.
No, and not only that, it does re-emphasize the ideology that slow backing, that backing up is just as dangerous. You got to make sure, we think, oh, well, I'll just bump a dock, or, oh, well, I might bump a trailer. No, you might bump a person. You might run over somebody. So the idea is there, and the reality is there, and the situation is there. Got to remember how important it is to get out and look every single time.
Hey, producer, show some of the stats to kind of back that up. I don't know if you have the graph or not, but they showed, the years that compared to 80% this year knocked offline, and it shows, the previous hurricanes going all the way back.
The big ones. Here are the big ones. The Katrina, Ike, Laura, Harvey, all of these really, really big ones. And here it is. Ida is showing us how much more devastation and damage it did out there on the open water with this stuff and the production of oil all out in the Gulf, because it just moved through with such high winds. And it's not repaired yet. They're still working on it.
Yeah, only just over 20% of the Gulf of Mexico's oil and natural gas production is back online. So we're still like a week out of, Ida here, and only about 20% has actually been back online. 77% of that region's offshore production still remains shut off. And by comparison, about 60% of oil output and 40% of gas was still offline this long after Katrina devastated in 2005. So this is a pretty massive disparity between the two.
Is to get the 17 and 18-year-olds allowed to drive over the state lines.
Yeah, 18 to 20 pilot program that they're trying to work on to bring in some new blood and a new life. Now, there already is some states that allow intrastate travel with 18 to 20-year-olds on a pilot program, but they're wanting to utilize it as interstate travel so that it can go across state lines, because those are the federally mandated roads.
Yeah, 3,000 students or 3,000 people will participate in this pilot program.
Interesting.
And I want to get some feedback, producer, from you.
So here's my thing with it. I think that they are going to be requiring 400 hours of training on top of everything else. So they're already going to have a lot of training going into every young blood coming into the industry that's going across state lines in order to get that commercial license to start doing interstate travel. I think this is a good thing. The more that we invest in the coming generation of drivers, the more we can pump fresh blood into the industry and keep it going. Yeah, I think we got to have people who are going to be able to supply the industry. We're already seeing a driver shortage, so let's pump that up a little bit.
Right,
and
stop
I think
there. Okay, here's the first thing. So he's saying, let's pump some new blood in the system. What do you think about that, Drive Safe, Dave?
I absolutely. I'm all for it. I like the ideology of bringing in young people, because if you get them early, instead of going to a different trade, you can create this new So you have an 18-year-old, right, who has the opportunity to go get a job, but he can't get a interstate job traveling right now. So what's he going to do? He's going to go get a different job.
You know, the brake checking. You know, it's something we talk about. We see it on the videos a lot. And many may not know that a lot of states have laws against brake checking. And if they don't, they automatically classify it in reckless driving, which they do have laws against. And even now the lawyers are using it in lawsuits. They are classifying this as a reckless driving habit, so they can use it against just about anybody. It really opens up the uncertainty of who's going to win a case, because it just depends what you can sway the jury on if it goes to that. And then the other thing that they're even doing is they are now stating that this is a form of road rage. And then they go a step further and say road rage is an impairment to your driving, just as fatigue, alcohol. They're even likening it as just as bad as being impaired by alcohol or drugs. So at the light, a little late, but able to stop. So great job. And then look what happens.
My goodness
Another
gracious.
vehicle.
That is not the answer right there.
Folks, this is why we, the BCBs of safety is when you approach traffic lights, even if they're green, you have to be slowing down and prepared to stop because of this. Somebody is going to run that red light. Same thing if you're on the other direction and you get to green, pause just a few seconds. Make sure you look to see if anybody is going too fast and possibly looking to run the light.
I mean, let's just say this. If this truck hits somebody, they're dead.
Yes.
Right? I mean, nothing but death comes out of this decision right here. Intersections, that Buckle Bob has said many times, are so stinking dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And Drive Safe Dave, boy, this just hurts me to the heart.
This right here, there's nothing smart about this, right? There is nothing that is that important. There is no where you need to be that important. There is nothing you do. There is no, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, that light is completely red when you enter the intersection. There is nothing about that is good.
No, and intersections, especially in these business areas, you know, you stop and think, when you're on the interstate, you may have 4 or 5 scenarios that you're watching. Here, there's probably 10, 11, because you got all the directions, all the side streets, you've got the businesses. You just have way more things to occupy your thought processes and getting that big picture. You got traffic. Are they going to come over into my lane, make a quick turn? Is somebody going to run the light? You know, somebody can make a right turn there, and then boom.
So what's really hard to understand is, we all know this, but our truck is a big wall. You can't. All the people on the right can't see behind that wall, and they don't see if they're further enough back. They can't see this guy until it's too late.
Yes.
You know, part of what the BCBs and the reason for BCB Live, okay? Let's make sure that we all understand. The reason for BCB Live is to stop these things from happening, is to get the word out about stale green lights, is in what you see in the driver right here driving this vehicle that we're looking at. They're prepared to stop. They may want to try to get to that light, but no matter what, they're ready to stop, and the other one doesn't have that value, producer.
And even getting out the information to four-wheelers, I mean, the more that we put this out there and we let people know, hey, whenever you're at this intersection, people are going to run these lights. You got to take a second. You got to hesitate. You can get off your brake because, I mean, people will honk at you, but don't speed through as soon as that light turns green. I know that prior to being here, I would have just gone through that green.
You're timing it, right?
I would have gone through that green.
If I go slow enough, I'll be able to make this light, and when it turns red to green, I go. And if you time this one right coming the other way, you're dead.
Yeah, because this driver on the left side's going, I'm saying at least 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour, probably faster than that. And in a big truck, that's going to take out any four-wheeler on that road.
He's on the accelerator.
Yeah.
No, this is exactly what we're here for. This is exactly what BCB Live is for, because there's no room for this. And what it is in Drive Safe, we've talked about it many times from callers that come in that says, well, sometimes when you don't act 15 seconds behind, 10 seconds behind this, when this happened right here, now you find yourself in that situation where the driver, you know, he's in no man's land, and it's only because of his or her own fault. You've got to look ahead. You've got to be prepared to stop first, not go first.
Right, and for, you know, any new driver out there, why is this so important to the BCBs and to every driver out there? It's because In a 5-year period, on average, there's 130,000 deaths a year at intersections. 130,000 people die a year. There was about 500,000, 500,000 accidents at intersections a year.
Let's talk technology. We're going to stay on this for a second because here's the next thing. You know, many vehicles, and let's say the rock caller here, if his technology, if he doesn't put his brakes on or anything like that, nobody's going to see it. Right?
Right.
So the technology says that, man alive, you know, and let's just talk about Netrodyne, who was in here a couple of weeks ago. The technology to be able to outward facing, look at the red light, see it's red, and alert a dispatcher, a driver manager, a safety director, the driver, that's key. That's how you educate. If the driver on this one here that runs this right now on his outward camera has got no technology, doesn't have a camera, nobody's going to know what happened. And he or she, they don't correct the bad habit.
You know, and I'll even go a step further. This driver may do everything right all day.
Yes.
He might drive 99.9%
Great point.
all day in this one moment in time. This one moment in time, he doesn't do his value. He doesn't do what he normally does because either he's distracted or he's in a hurry. This right here, these are the things that we have to be aware of and how important 100% of the time, 100% of when you're out there, and that these moments that you encounter every day become not only habit, but ingrained in your heart, ingrained in your soul, so you don't do these things right here.
And what you're saying is drive safe, is that you, out there on the road, that CDL, that absolutely your expectation as a driver is to do it right, safe, 100% of the time. Because anytime you don't do it safe, and you're right, 99% of the time this driver may do it right, this one time, and it may be the first time ever, there's a great chance of death.
Absolutely. And that's how hard it is out there. That's how difficult it is, but what we're working towards and what we're trying to educate, what we're trying to say is that these things right here can best be avoided by learning, by talking about, and by education. And right here, right now, we all can point the finger at the driver, but really let's point the finger at our culture and our ideology, and let's point at what we do out there every day to not make it better.
Yes, sir.